Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am really excited for this video because I am attempting to budget for the first time in my married life, which is crazy. I've been feeling like I've been spending way too much money at the grocery store, don't even know what I'm buying. And so this week I decided to use some tips and tricks that I've been learning about and save some money. So I'm going to walk you through the process. Basically, I'm going to take an inventory of what's in my fridge and my freezer and my pantry and try to create meals based around those items and then just supplement with a few items from the grocery store. And I thought I'd just take you guys along for the journey. I've never really done this before, so still have a lot to learn, but you'll be surprised at how little I spent this week. And I was surprised, and we ate really well, and I didn't even create all the meals that I thought I would need for the week. So yes, it was a very successful week of budgeting. I hope you can use these tips and tricks with your family and save some money. So let's jump into the video. Sorry for the buzzing of my fridge. It's on. As you can see, we aren't a completely vegan, plant-based family, at least my husband and, well, my daughter basically is because she eats what I cook. But anyways, my husband does eat yogurt and eggs. I'll occasionally have a bite of an egg. Anyways, there's not much in my fridge, but I just want to write down things that I can use for the next week ahead and see what meals I can come up with. So a lot of this, I'm gonna go to the store tomorrow. This is some chickpea pot pie. We're gonna eat this tonight. This is like a tofu tempeh scramble we're gonna eat tonight. These are just like some not so great desserts that I'm trying not to throw away. They were just kind of recipe fails. Anyway, so not much. We've got a couple apples. We usually have this stuffed with apples and oranges. So we definitely need some fresh fruit just for snacks. That's kind of our biggest snack. Down here I've got some salsa. Maybe I'll do something Mexican to eat up some of that. We have some vegan cream cheese, some pickles, vegan Parmesan. Maybe I could do marinara. I think I have some pasta and pasta sauce. So as you can see, very bare, and we're gonna eat a lot of this tonight. So that's what's on the top. Let's look below. Yeah, so not much better here. We've got some leftover drinks from the day. I've got some applesauce, some juice, some drinks that I don't even drink. My husband had a little mouth surgery recently, so he had bought these. So maybe I could do like, use them in oatmeal or something. They kind of have just been sitting there. And then in my produce drawer, I have 1.5 zucchinis, green onions, and some pak choi. So yeah, not much to work with, but I'm just gonna write down some foods that I can use in the week ahead. So we have some bread, we have salsa, vegan parm, cream cheese, zucchini, pak choi, and green onion. That's kind of, I guess, oh yeah, chocolate milk and maybe some applesauce. I don't know, we can come up with something. So that's kind of all I have to work with up here. Let's check out the door. Okay, so again, just not much. I do have some coconut cream, so I could make like a curry with that. Just got some milk for cereal or oatmeal. This I just use for tea. And then just some random sauces. I do have some olives. We love tapenade, so maybe I can make some tapenade. Up here, you can't see it. Got some blocks of vegan cheese. These are our favorite. So I've got a mozzarella and a smoked block. Yeah, and just some ground flaxseed and your normal condiments. So not a ton, but I probably will write down olives, coconut cream, and vegan cheese and see what I can come up with those items. Okay, I obviously have not organized my freezer. We bought a ton of stuff before quarantine, and I've just been like trying to get rid of it. So let's just see if I can see what we have. We've got some frozen bagels, so could definitely use that maybe for breakfast for dinner or for even just breakfast with the cream cheese. Looks like I have a ton of edamame, like 2.5 bags. So yeah, definitely want to try to use it up. Maybe like a deconstructed sushi bowls with edamame rice. We've got nuts, we've got frozen cauliflower rice. Oh man, this is such a mess. Chopped spinach, more nuts, frozen fruit for smoothies. And it looks like the only other exciting thing are maybe 2 lentil patties. So I'm so sorry this is a mess, but I'll definitely write down the edamame, the frozen bread, and frozen spinach and see what I can come up with to use those for. Over here on the door, I've just got more nuts, more ground flaxseed, almond flour, and then I do not like this mixed bag of veggies, but I need to use it up. I basically bought it for quarantine. I had no idea what it would be like here in Malaysia, so it's peas, corn, carrots, I think. So somehow need to use that up. I'm not quite sure how. And some sausages that weren't my favorite, but yes, need to eat those up. So I'll write down vegan sausage, this frozen mixed bag of veggies, and then remember that I have almond flour, so maybe I could bake something. Yeah, but let's check out the pantry. Okay, so yay for you, my pantry I just organized and put everything in airtight containers so it won't look quite as messy as my freezer. So up here I've just got a ton of cereal. I don't know how I ended up with this much cereal because we don't really eat it. I've got muesli, some homemade granola, Wheat Bix. All of those could be great for breakfast, so I really don't, yeah, and especially with rolled oats and quick oats, don't need to buy anything for breakfast other than some fruit maybe. Back here I've got steel cut oats, so could also use that for breakfast. Got some roasted peanuts. Those could be a snack. Raw cashews, I can make a sauce with that. And then this morning I actually used these raw peanuts to make peanut butter. So that's something I do to save money, is to make my own peanut butter because it's a little more expensive here in Malaysia. So yeah, I feel like I'm very covered on breakfast. Let's see what we got down here. I have some chopped tomatoes, quite a few. I could make like tomato soup and make a grilled cheese with the bread and the cheese. That would be good. We love butter beans, especially in pasta, so we have that vegan parm, and could definitely make something with those or just make a simple bootable meal. Yeah, we are stocked on milk and coconut cream, so I definitely want to make like a coconut soup or a curry, because down here I have quite a few chickpeas. I have so many dried beans that I bought before the quarantine, so I want to start using those. I don't want to really buy much protein this week. We have so many chickpeas that I should go through. Black-eyed peas I've never cooked with before. Back here I've got brown rice, white rice, so with the bread we're kind of set for starches. Got red lentils, yellow lentils. Yeah, so maybe like a lentil curry soup with the coconut cream would be great, or a dal. Could use the rice as base for Buddha bowls or that deconstructed sushi bowl. Yeah, so I think we are quite set on protein. Let's check out my other pantry. Okay, up here I kind of just have more random stuff from lockdown or quarantine, and I want to just start getting through it. Got some tomato sauce here, so I definitely want to just do some pasta and marinara one night. I have a bunch of white pasta, which I don't normally buy, but it was all I could find during lockdown, so I just want to use it because I don't want it to go to waste. Just got some snacks, some crackers, rice cakes, pretzels, so maybe I could cook some of the chickpeas and make a hummus for Buddha bowls and for snacks. And then here I definitely could bake something, which I probably will do for a breakfast, considering I have oats I could grind into flour. I've got the almond meal. I've got all kinds of sweeteners and mix-ins, nuts, seeds. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna bake something, because also down here I've got all my flours, gluten-free flours, chickpea flours, whole wheat flour. Yeah, so I'm gonna now look through what I've written down and try to come up with meals, and then just see what I need to buy at the store. Oh yeah, and we have really ripe bananas and really green bananas, so I might need to buy just some in between. I could use these to make banana bread or muffins, and then we might need some ready to eat bananas to enjoy with our breakfast. Have some avocado, so definitely could make a Mexican bowl with the salsa, rice, garlic. I could definitely use some onions. So let's make a list. Okay, so as we were looking through my fridge, freezer, pantry, I wrote down the things that I want to use up, that I have on hand, and we are going to come up with some meal ideas. So I really feel a lentil coconut curry or dal, so I'm definitely gonna make that, and I think I have everything for it because I am stocked on spices. I just might want some lemon or lime or cilantro and then onion. So I know I need some onion for that, but yeah, definitely making a lentil dal of sorts. Another thing that stood out to me is marinara pasta, vegan parm. So let's do a marinara pasta night. I also have some pak choi, edamame. I think like a deconstructed sushi bowl would be really good. So maybe I'd get some carrots and cucumber, julienne those, cook the edamame, eat it with some rice and soy sauce. It'd be really easy, and then with the green onions. So let's do that. And we've got zucchini. I think one thing for breakfast, I love zotes or zucchini oatmeal. So I think I'm gonna use up that zucchini and the little things of chocolate milk that have been sitting there and make some chocolate zotes one time for breakfast. So that's a breakfast option. I definitely want to bake something to use up the super ripe bananas. So I think that has breakfast covered, and if we run out of chocolate zotes or the baked goods, then we can just make easy oatmeal or use the bagels that we had, cinnamon raisin bagels in the freezer, I think. So yeah, breakfast is set. I feel like we could do a Mediterranean night with, I could cook the chickpeas and make a hummus, maybe roast some of the chickpeas, and then use the olives to make like a tapenade or something like that. So I think I will do that for another dinner option. I also love to eat dark leafy greens fairly regularly, so I feel like kale's been fairly cheap and I get a huge batch, so I'm gonna just buy that to make sure that I can stir that into the dal or add it into my marinara pasta. But I also have frozen spinach that I'm trying to get rid of, so I'm just gonna buy it so that we get our greens in. So that is another thing you can do if you know there's a food you want to eat more of. Buy it and just try to have a plan for how to use it so that it doesn't go to waste or go bad before you actually eat it. But I think I've got about 4 dinner ideas. Breakfast is covered. I feel like we often have leftovers of dinner that we just use for lunch. Snacks, I'll just add some fruit to my list. So in addition to bananas, we always eat apples and oranges. And yeah, we have crackers. If I make hummus, we could eat that as a snack. Carrots, cucumbers, and hummus. We have dessert set. I'm just trying to think if we would have enough for lunch. So I'll see what I see at the store, but I'm pretty sure I don't need much. And I'm really excited to see how low our bill is this week and whether we can last a whole week without going back to the store. So I'll see you guys in the morning with my grocery haul. Okay, so I went to the grocery store and I spent the least amount of money that I've ever spent at the grocery store. I don't know if that was correct grammar, but anyways, I spent right under $30 for all that I'm hoping to only use this week. So let me just quickly show you what I got. I got a big head of kale, some romaine for burgers or just side salads. Got a big head of cauliflower. They didn't have broccoli, so I just went with what they had. Got a big bunch of cilantro that wasn't looking great, so we'll probably do our Mexican meal tomorrow night and use some of this for the leftover dal, which we have a lot of. Got some lemons. I wish I could have bought these loose because I don't need 5 for the week, and I just wanted to see how much I'd actually need, but they only sold them by 5, so got those. Got some limes, carrots, which I'll roast, and julienne for different meals. Got a ton of apples, onions, some ready-to-eat bananas, mushrooms, and cucumber. So yeah, this came to I think $29.30 US dollars, or I think it was like 128 ringgit. So very happy about this. We'll see how long it lasts. Oh, and I got oranges. Brett put them in the fridge already. So got some oranges. I have a feeling we'll want more oranges later in the week because we go through them so quick, and I only got 5 or 6. So yes, we will see how the fruit situation goes. Nothing too extravagant, definitely mostly veggies, but I'm excited to see if I can stick to just under 30 bucks for the whole week. Okay, so I'll start with showing you what I made for breakfast this week. I shared a recipe like this in my last breakfast meal prep video, but it's basically overnight oats with oats, chia seeds, cocoa powder, added in some cacao nibs, a pinch of salt, and then I just stirred this all together before adding in my liquid, which was, oh yeah, and I added zucchini. Used up the zucchini, which was great to get in some veggies. And then for the liquid, I did the chocolate milk that had been sitting in my fridge forever, and then added just some other almond milk that I had to get the right consistency. Then I just put everything into jars. I did 2 full jars each for my husband and I, and then 1 for my daughter, because she usually just has a half a portion for each breakfast. So this gave us 2 days of breakfast. It's really easy to make, doesn't go bad in the fridge for a few days. So just stored these in the fridge in the jars, and then meal was set for days 1 and 2. I usually pour mine into a bowl and top it with nut butter and some fun toppings. It was so good. I did some baking for the next few days, so I just made some banana chocolate chip gluten-free muffins. If you haven't figured out that I like chocolate yet, you will soon discover that I put it in everything. And then for the last couple days, I just made some stovetop oatmeal and used some frozen fruit from the freezer that I'd been wanting to use up. And then we just added toppings, so really simple. Lots of oatmeal this week. For my first dinner, I made a coconut lentil dal. I'll leave the recipe linked down below. Just started by sauteing some onions, garlic, and a ton of fresh ginger, which made this so good. And just stir it until the veggies or the onions soften before adding in all the spices. And then cook that down a little bit. And then for liquid, I just used some veggie broth powder that I already had in my pantry. So added water and then a mix of the veggie broth powder. And then I finally used up the carton of coconut milk that I'd been dying to get rid of before adding in some red lentils. And then I just brought this to a simmer, and it got really thick and creamy, and we ate this for 2-3 days. I don't know, it made a big batch and we loved it, so it lasted us a long time. We also had some mango chutney in our fridge that had been there for ages, so added that. And then I stirred in some frozen spinach. Next night was deconstructed sushi. I just cooked up some white rice, cooked up the edamame, julienne some cucumbers and carrots, and then we had some seaweed in our pantry, and then I also cooked up the bok choy, and then we just added a little soy sauce. So our third budget meal is Mexican. I just cooked brown rice and black beans in my pressure cooker, and then I had a bunch of avocados that were about to go bad, so I used those and made like this avocado cream sauce with cilantro, lime juice, and salt, and just kind of taste and adjust as I go. I had salsa in the fridge that needed to be eaten up, so the only things I bought for this meal were some limes, lettuce, and mushrooms, I believe, and cilantro. So if you're on a budget, avocados definitely aren't the cheapest, but I already had them, so you could just do like yogurt for sour cream, or just leave off the avocado and just do lots of lime juice and cilantro, and it would be amazing. So yeah, dinner number 3. Yet again, we had so many leftovers that I didn't want to cook too much extra, so I just made a big kale salad with some roasted cauliflower and the leftover black beans and a tahini dressing. So this is our last dinner of the week. I did not need to use half of what I thought I would need. We just had so many leftovers every day. These black bean burgers were made from the black beans that I had left over from our Mexican night. I just made a huge pot of them, and we've been eating them all week, along with brown rice, some kale that I massaged, and then just kind of doing a burger bowl, I guess. But yeah, this will be dinner. So as you can see, I didn't show many dinner recipes, mainly because the recipes I made a ton of food. It would last us 1 or 2 nights plus a lunch. If you have a larger family, you could double the recipes or just cook more from what you have already on hand in your pantry or fridge, but it was such a successful week. We had plenty of food and I did not spend much at all, so I'm definitely going to use this method going forward, basically starting with taking inventory from my fridge, freezer, pantry, and making sure I use up what's going to go bad first, and then just supplementing with a few things at the grocery store, fresh produce, fresh fruit, and then to keep my pantry stocked on a budget, I'll just try to keep an eye out for when things are on sale so that I always have inexpensive brown rice and whole grains and beans, and yeah, you can eat really cheaply on a plant-based diet. And I hope this video encouraged you guys to try out this method of budgeting and that it gave you some new inspiration for your week ahead. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!